Have you ever wondered why your reflection in the mirror seems a little off, a little different from how you perceive yourself? Why your mirror self always appears to be a reverse image? It's a perplexing riddle, isn't it? Often we think that mirrors show us an exact replica of reality, but they don't. They present us with a reversed image. A mirror image, if you will. But what's even more intriguing is why we perceive this mirror image as slightly different from our actual selves. Our brains, you see, have a knack for creating an idealized image of ourselves. When confronted with the harsh truth of the mirror, we tend to see discrepancies, causing us to question the accuracy of the reflection. Common misconceptions about mirror reflections abound, from the belief that mirrors can steal souls to the notion that they are portals to other dimensions. But the truth is far less supernatural and much more scientific. Well, you're not alone. This phenomenon is due to something called mirror error. Mirror error, a term that might sound complex, but in reality it's quite simple. It's a fascinating phenomenon that occurs every time you gaze into a mirror. But what exactly is mirror error? Imagine you're standing in front of a mirror. The image you see isn't actually you. It's a mirror image, a flipped version of yourself. This is where the term mirror error comes into play. It refers to the difference between the real image and the mirror image. When you raise your right hand, your mirror image raises what appears to be its left hand. This is because mirrors don't actually flip images horizontally. They flip them front to back, creating a reversed version of reality. This is a mirror error in action. It's like entering an alternate universe where everything is just slightly off. Your left becomes your right becomes your left, but everything else seems to stay the same. It's a world that exists in reverse, an illusion of reality that only exists in the glass. This might seem like a small, insignificant detail, but it has profound implications. It means that the face you see in the mirror every day is not the face that the rest of the world sees. It's a flipped, reversed version of you. The same goes for anything you see in a mirror. That car approaching in your rearview mirror, it's coming from the opposite direction than it appears. It's a strange concept to wrap your head around, isn't it? But it's a fundamental aspect of how mirrors work. It's what allows us to use them to check our appearances, to see around corners, and to create illusions and magic tricks. So the next time you look into a mirror, remember, you're not looking at you, but a mirror image of you. You're looking at a world reversed, a world that exists only in the glass. It's a world of mirror error, a world that, for all its strangeness, is just as real as the one we live in. Now that we've learned about mirror error and the difference between a mirror image and a real image, let's recap. Mirror error is a fascinating phenomenon that refers to the discrepancy between how we perceive ourselves in the mirror and how we actually appear in reality. This occurs because mirrors flip images horizontally, creating a left-right reversal. What we see in the mirror is not a true representation of ourselves, but a flipped image. This is why, when you raise your right hand in front of a mirror, it appears as if the reflection is raising its left hand. Since we are so accustomed to seeing ourselves in mirrors, this mirror image becomes our accepted self-image. We grow comfortable with this reversed version of ourselves and often find it jarring when we see photos or videos of ourselves which show us as we truly are, unflipped. This can lead to what's known as the mirror exposure effect, where people develop a preference for things simply because they are familiar with them. Mirror error also affects our perception of symmetry. Since our faces are not perfectly symmetrical, the reversed image we see in the mirror can make us believe we are more symmetrical than we actually are. This can impact our self-esteem and body image, as we may not feel as attractive when we see our true, unflipped image. Moreover, mirror error can even impact our interactions with others. For instance, we may subconsciously expect others to have the same left-right reversal as our mirror image, which can lead to confusion or miscommunication. In essence, mirror error reminds us of the disconnect that exists between perception and reality. It's an intriguing concept that makes us question the truth of what we see and highlights the power of perspective. Remember, the person you see in the mirror is not a perfect representation of you, but a reversed version. So the next time you gaze into a mirror, remember that you're seeing a version of yourself that's unique to you, a version that no one else sees. Embrace it, for it's a part of who you are. But why does this happen? Why do mirrors reverse images? Science has the answer. To begin with, it's crucial to understand that mirrors don't actually reverse images left to right. Instead, they reverse images front to back. This is a concept known as mirror reversal, or lateral inversion. The misconception that mirrors flip images horizontally arises from our perception and interpretation of the reflection. Now let's delve into the science behind it. When light hits an object, it bounces off in a multitude of directions. Some of these light rays then hit the mirror. Mirrors, being highly reflective surfaces, will reflect these light rays back. However, the key thing to note is that mirrors obey what's known as the law of reflection. The law of reflection states that the angle of incidence, which is the angle at which incoming light ray hits a surface, is equal to the angle of reflection, which is the angle at which the light ray bounces off. In simpler terms, if a light ray hits a mirror at a certain angle, it will bounce off at the exact same angle in the opposite direction. This is where the mirror reversal phenomenon comes into play. When you look at yourself in a mirror, you're not actually seeing a left-right reversed image, but a front-back reversed image. Your left is still left, and your right is still right. But what's in front of the mirror appears to be behind it. The mirror doesn't decide to flip anything, it just reflects light. The flipping is something we do in our heads because we're used to a different kind of reversal, the kind we get when we turn around. In conclusion, the mirror error is not a flaw or a mystery. Rather, it's a fascinating interplay of light and our perception. It's an illustration of how our brains take in and process information about the world around us. So mirror error is not a mystery but a scientific phenomenon. We encounter mirror error more often than we realize in our everyday lives. Think about it. You wake up in the morning, shuffle to the bathroom, and there you are face to face with your mirrored self. Now think about the times you've tried to touch up your hair or apply makeup. Have you ever noticed how it takes just a bit more effort to get your reflection to match your intended look? That's mirror error in action. It's a phenomenon that can turn the simple act of shaving into a challenge. You hold up the razor to your reflection, aiming for the stubble on the left side of your face, only to realize that it's actually on the right side. The mirror has flipped your image, causing your brain to do a quick recalibration. And it's not just confined to the bathroom mirror. Mirror error pops up in a host of everyday scenarios. Ever tried to read a sign through a mirror? The text appears reversed, right? That's because mirrors flip images horizontally, not vertically. So, open becomes nepo. It's a small change, but one that can throw us off in unexpected ways. Consider learning a new dance routine or exercise move. You're following along with a video, trying to mimic the instructor's moves, but something's not quite right. You realize you're moving your right hand when you should be moving your left. That's mirror error messing with your perception. Even when we're driving, we're not immune to mirror error. Those objects in the rearview mirror, they're actually closer than they appear. Another example of how mirrors can distort our perception. But don't worry, it's not a glitch in the matrix or a fault in your brain. It's just the quirky nature of light and mirrors, playing tricks on our minds. Mirror error is a fascinating concept that impacts us in more ways than we realize. It's there in our daily rituals, our learning processes, and even our safety measures. It's a subtle reminder of the intriguing world that exists just beyond the looking glass. We've come a long way from the initial question of why our mirror self seems a little different. We delved into the enigma of mirror error, unraveled its complexities, and brought to light its fascinating aspects. We started off by questioning the peculiarity of our mirror image. From there, we took a deep dive into the science behind this phenomenon, understanding that it's all about the way light bounces off objects and into our eyes. We then looked into how mirror error subtly infiltrates our daily lives, often in ways we don't even notice. From the mirror selfie that doesn't quite look like us, to the left-right confusion while navigating, mirror error is everywhere. And yet, despite its omnipresence, it remains an intriguing mystery, a conundrum that keeps us on our toes. So the next time you stand in front of a mirror, don't forget the mystery of the mirror error. And remember, the mirror isn't lying, it's just showing you a different version of yourself.